Back with Bobby and JJ Radio for the second time. So I guess he likes Bobby enough to come back. We have Mr. Troy Jaster of Keller Williams City View. Troy, I want to say thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know let's dive into it a little bit. Obviously, you wear a couple of hats.
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
JJ has pink ones.
I do. They're nice.
I got an orange one.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have obviously a business.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your real estate business a little bit.
Yeah, business is booming. We've got a team of 7 here in San Antonio. We've got offices.
Hey, I know business is good, but have you ever heard someone say business is bad right now? Has that ever happened?
No, not really.
Right?
No.
I don't think
Well,
so.
we're going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
I know it's actually booming.
We've seen his numbers.
Yeah.
He's doing extremely well.
Yeah. Usually don't hear that. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, terrible.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should quit.
Yeah.
But no, we've got like I said, we've got our 7 people here in San Antonio. We've got a team in Austin and one in Dallas as well.
Where did the team originate?
Denton, actually, North Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So altogether, 3 locations. I think we've got about 25 agents.
Wow.
So yeah.
And you kind of head up the
San Antonio. Yeah.
So you're like the team, for lack of a better term, team leader here.
Yeah.
In San Antonio.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
And what do you guys specialize in?
All residential. We don't do any commercial.
Sure.
And so we, the thing that's kind of like the hook for our team, a lot of us are former educators, or at least somehow have some sort of an education background.
No wonder you're so bossy. I'm just
And so that's we've got a lot of I do a lot of business with teachers and families.
So you were a teacher at one point.
I was, yeah. I was a middle school teacher. Yeah.
Coach?
I did, yeah. I did.
Knew it.
Well, I wasn't. I coached on the side. That was I wasn't the PE guy.
I would have just done it for the shorts, to be honest with you, because those are the coolest.
I still
shorts.
wear those.
Yeah, I would too.
Like that's just normal.
Yeah, they're what is it?
Casual
nylon?
Fridays.
Nylon. Yeah, I like it. So you transitioned from the education world.
Yep.
Into real estate. How has that helped you out? You feel?
Oh, tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really just feel like I'm a teacher, really.
Well,
still.
95% of I feel like as real estate agents,
That's
95% of
Yeah.
what we do is educate, for sure.
I totally agree. Yeah. And I think that also when you come at it to your clients from an education side versus I'm a greasy salesperson
For
side,
sure.
I tell people, hey, I'm going to educate you about the process,
Yeah.
and
You're going to make the decision.
yeah, and you're going to make the decision. If it feels right for you and it's good for me, then okay, we'll go with it.
For sure. Like, I've never sold a house in my life.
No.
Or anything.
I sold a lot of them.
No, you haven't.
Oh, they wanted them. But
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't, right? Like, it's such a big decision. You
It's
can't.
not a car dealership where, like, if you buy it now,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to live in it for 2 years and then I'll trade it in later.
Yeah.
No, it's different. They have to fall in love. They have to want it. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just there to facilitate the fact that I hope that they're going to make a great decision, and
Sure.
I'm going to answer their questions and guide them along the way, and that's basically it. I'm going to be there for the framework.
Yeah, I love it. So you obviously do that. I met your wife. I know she's awesome.
She is.
Now you've gone into another little venture.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So
and mainly how it happened.
Okay, so about a year ago, myself and one of my really good friends, Seamus Nelson, we were just kind of talking. We were hanging out one time, and we were talking about how I'm a huge podcast listener.
Yeah,
And so, we as real estate agents, we're driving a lot.
for sure.
And so I'm really big on just audio learning whenever I can be, whether it's audiobooks or whatever. And so
Who's your big go-to in podcast?
podcasts,
Bobby and JJ Radio. I mean,
Duh.
when I'm not listening to Bobby and JJ Radio in my spare time, Lance Armstrong. And say what you will about his past.
no.
I love
He's
it.
got-
You got to do whatever it takes. Yeah.
He's got actually two podcasts. One of them is called The Forward. Tremendous guests. Awesome. Just awesome. I've been listening
I've
to
heard
that.
it.
Yeah, it's very good. And then of course he does one too called The Move, which is more based on they podcast throughout the Tour de France. I'm a big cycling fan. So so yeah, he's like, if I could just listen to one for the rest of my time, like that's probably the one I'd choose. Yeah.
If
How I
Bobby
built-
and JJ Radio.
if Bobby and JJ Radio was off
make-
there,
yeah, make sure
How I Built This, that's another great one too.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we were talking about how we both listen to a lot of podcasts. So
Yeah.
he was the same way. And I said, I've kind of had this urge to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And he was like, I kind of have too. And so we actually, I will.
Well, stop right there.
Okay.
So I don't think people understand how powerful it can be, and also how it's kind of a needed space. No offense to anything, but there's all these different genres of media that are changing, evolving, or dying. But the podcast is something that where it gives a perspective that a lot of people don't get. And I think like you're talking about, Lance Armstrong has a couple. You're listening to like, you know, there's Gary Vee.
Anything you want.
Yeah,
Anything you want.
I don't think that, and it's also, I hate to say Bob's 41, but like our Generation
really
X.
Yeah, am I the oldest one?
You usually are.
Yeah.
But it's our generation that is kind of like gravitating towards this genre or media.
I think the biggest thing that's making people gravitate toward it is the fact that it's on demand.
Right.
You know, you don't have to say, well, I always listen at 10 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. to listen to Bobby and JJ. I don't have to do that.
Right.
Thanks. I can actually just load it up when it, and here this will kind of bring it full circle. When I started really listening heavily to audiobooks and podcasts, my sister gave me some great information, a great advice. When my wife was pregnant with our oldest son,
Right.
she said, load up the DVR, load up your audiobooks for all those middle of the night feedings. When you're at 2 a.m., you know, she said, that's the time to be earbuds in. And so that's when I started really getting hooked. So that was, that was 6 years ago.
Right.
So bringing that, full circle, there's Your Dad's Podcast. That's
so why did you and Seamus pick this perspective, Your Dad's?
So we were sort of tap dancing around a few different ideas for a while. And then we started to really zone in on the fact I've got 2 little boys, he's got 2 little girls. And we said, we've got 18 years of content just based on that. Yeah. So I think, we won't run dry for a while.
You can. And another thing I like is that there's so many mommy ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
everything.
It's unlimited.
Are those ones you listen to?
I know. I'm pretty well versed in all of them. Yeah, actually. No, but there are, like, if you look at it, it's overwhelming.
Which is fine. That's great. That's needed. And yet there wasn't a whole lot of dad content.
Right.
And so that's where we came after and we said, okay, I think we've got a space here that we could jump into. And it was almost a year ago we started recording. We officially launched in April. I think we've got 13, 14, 15 episodes that have been out. We launch a new one on the 1st and 15th of every month.
Cool.
And
talk about some of the content that you've covered.
Yeah, so we've had some great guests. We've also had JJ.
Mm-hmm. No.
I got that.
No, but we really want different perspectives.
Sure.
So we had an interview with what we called the dad of no kids. He was a guy that I had met, and first we were just meeting and talking about backgrounds, and he said in conversation, he said, "Yeah, my wife and I do not want kids."
Yeah.
And so we had him on as a guest.
That
and we talked
about me.
I
am totally against it.
It was a great interview.
Yeah. If you ever need a re-up, there you go.
Yeah. We had actually our very first interview was with an expectant dad who coincidentally about a week ago now is officially a dad. So we're gonna bring him back soon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then interspersed with that, Seamus and I will just talk about different topics. We covered one that was a great one. Before the summer travel season about flying with kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of experience.
I got experience with that because I fly and I hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not their fault. They're uncomfortable and it's a long flight.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about that. So, buying a house and thinking about how it's going to affect your kids.
For sure.
So yeah, pretty much any topic that is dad related, we cover it.
I love it. So for the listeners here, how can they find
Easiest
you?
way, www.yourdads.com.
Okay.
That has everything. And then also all the regular podcast places, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, all of them, Your Dad's Podcast. Instagram at Your Dad's Podcast.
Perfect. So yourdads.com, check it out. Look up the JJ Grant episode. It's probably the best, but I'm not really sure. We'll take a quick break. Be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.